Всем добрый день, точнее доброго времени суток, я не знаю, день у вас либо ночь. Меня зовут Антон Занин с сайта lifeusa.ru. Это небольшое вступление перед последующей лекцией, которая сегодня произошла в моем колледже. Ее вел профессор, руководитель департамента по работе с иностранными студентами, то есть самый компетентный человек в области людей, у кого есть статус F1, либо виза F1, либо, как ее называют, студенческая виза в США. Если вы рассматриваете вопросы, если вам интересны вопросы поступления в американский колледж, получения каких-то документов, то вам не сюда, потому что эта лекция только о возможностях работы для иностранного студента. То есть в течение 1 часа мы имели возможность задать любые вопросы вот этому человеку, этому профессору по возможностям работы для иностранных студентов. Порядок поиска работы, где мы можем работать, где мы не можем работать и так далее. Самые важные вопросы, которые рассматривались, я расписал внизу под этим видео. Единственное, наверное, ограничение для некоторых будет это то, что вся лекция происходит на английском языке. Мы живем в Америке, профессор американец. Мы, соответственно, тоже задавали все вопросы на английском. Я, наверное, не буду переводить все это дело, потому что я считаю, что если вы собираетесь ехать в США как иностранный студент, то как минимум вы должны знать тот уровень английского, на котором проходила эта лекция. То есть вы должны быть способны понимать, о чем это, да, без каких-то посторонних вещей. Либо, если вы очень хотите действительно узнать, о чем эта лекция, но английским не владеете, просто найдите, я думаю, вы будете способны найти какого-то своего знакомого, который вам переведет. Потому что английский на самом деле не очень сложный, там можно понять. Ну что ж, на этом вступление, наверное, заканчивается. Далее следует лекция. Всем приятного прослушивания.
Applied for change of status, for example, this is your first semester, you applied for change of status and you're still waiting on the answer, you do have to wait until the Immigration Service has approved your request for change of status in order to be eligible to work on campus. So on-campus employment is limited to how many hours a week?
20.
20, right? So you can work 20 hours a week while you're on campus. You can work full-time, if permitted, during breaks. So during summertime, when you're not obligated to take classes, you can work full-time on campus. Has anybody taken advantage of the Career Services Center yet? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You haven't? Okay. So they are located in our hallway, just down the hall from us. The Career Services Center will help you in a number of ways. First of all, they have a jobs database. So if departments on campus are looking for students, they will notify the Career Center. So you will want to always make sure that you're registered with them. But even more importantly is doing a resume. And it's critical for you to have a very polished resume and a resume that is appropriate for the U.S. How many of you are from countries where you can put your picture on your resume? Right? You can't do that in the U.S. So there's some differences in terms of how you construct your resume that is appropriate. What goes first, second, and third on your resume, and how you talk about your educational background and your accomplishments. The Career Services Office can help you with that. The other thing that can help you with is interviewing and practicing interview skills, because how you interview, even if it's for a campus job, how you present yourself in the interview, how you talk about your accomplishments, how you talk about your skills and your assets, they can help you with that. And on their website, which I'm pretty sure this has a, web address. Yes, it does. Yes, it has a web address. And actually, let me just go there for you. So from student services, experiential career services, and you find all the information that you need about resume writing, and you can set up an appointment to speak with someone from the career services office. Is there more space on this? For those of you who just came in, I'm sending back a sign-in sheet. So before I go on to off-campus employment, any questions about on-campus employment? Any questions that you have? Now, places that hire on campus are dining services. Oh, thank you. Dining services, library. Most of the jobs on campus are not really available to international students because they're work-study jobs, and these are federal jobs. But we find students who work in the labs, computer labs, tutoring math, science classes, language classes. So, most of you are second language and have 2 and 3 languages. So, these are the departments that you want to connect with in terms of finding on-campus employment.
And also, student ambassadors, they very, I used to work there as an international student, and they're very likely to get international students to work there because they know how hard it is to find a job. We only can work on campus, so they welcome international students. Student life and activity.
Yeah, and actually there's 2 departments that hire ambassadors: the Student Life and Activities Office,
yes,
and Admissions and Recruitment Services.
yeah, that's right.
And the student ambassador training is actually, that's a fantastic job to have because you learn about the college, and you have an orientation program that's a day long. Actually, it's a day and a half, 2 days of orientation and training. So you're learning speaking skills, organizational skills, networking skills, and so, if you picked up as an ambassador, then that's a great thing that you can put on your resume, and the folks in the career services can help you talk about that kind of an experience on your resume. So you might want to, the other advice that I would give you is what I call social engineering, and that is let everybody that you come in contact with know that you're trying to find a job on campus. So let your professors know, let your learning assistants know who are in the various departments, let the administrators know, because somebody might hear of something and say, oh, okay, this person is good, why don't you go see so-and-so? Because jobs, they come quickly and disappear quickly. So sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time. So just let everybody know that you are trying to find something on campus.
I have a question, Dr. Thomas. What's the remuneration? Well, how much do you get paid?
It's minimum wage, which is $7.50 an hour. I don't think anybody on campus pays more than that, but it's $7.50 an hour. And explore departments that are off the beaten track. I mean, most of you will take classes between Larison Hall and Mass, but go scope out what's in ATEC and, over in the rec center, and, over in the administration building, the BAC building, there might be some departments over there that, have need of student workers and student help. So don't just stick with the classroom buildings, try to wander into some buildings and offices that are sort of off your beaten, off the beaten track. So any other questions about on campus? Yeah.
I think a lot of students very good, right? Fishek?
Those are the ambassadors.
Those are the ambassadors.
Yes, those are the ambassadors, yeah.
And you said student life and activities?
Student life and activities office, and anybody know where their office is located?
No.
Downstairs in the Student Life Center. Student Life and Activities office.
So is it possible to just come up there and ask them? Do you have any open positions?
Yeah.
So any documents?
Yes.
They-
You can go in and tell the staff that you are interested in working as an ambassador, and you'd like to know when will they be accepting applications.
So they won't send me back in the career service and
They may or may not.
Say
They might
that-
send you there. They might send you there to look for additional opportunities. But
it's still possible, right? So
Yes.
just come up and ask.
And then the other department is recruitment services. So you can go. Recruitment services is over in the car building on the first floor of the car building. So you can go to that department as well and ask when they will be accepting applications for ambassadors. Yeah.
Do you need to apply for a change of the status of your visa to work on campus, or
If you have F1 status, then you are automatically eligible to work on campus. That is an
I'm just
automatic.
saying if I would go on contract or something next week, if they are fine, and now they have to get approval. No, you can work, you are.
If you were in F1 status, you can work. You can automatically work on campus. So let me say something about Social Security numbers, though. If you do not yet have a Social Security number, the only way that you are eligible to receive a Social Security number is if you are working. So some of you may have been au pairs, some of you may have worked in had a working visa before, and you may already have a Social Security number. That's fine. But if you do not yet have a Social Security number, the only way that you are eligible for one is if you are working, if you have a job. So if you find a campus job, then we can help you to apply for a Social Security number. And you are eligible to begin your campus job while you are waiting to receive your Social Security number. Okay? But just know that there are a couple of steps that you have to go through. Yeah.
Would you be able to use that Social Security number in banks and stuff?
Yeah, you can, for your bank account, you need to,
Yeah, like,
if you have a U.S. bank account and they ask you for a Social Security number, yes. Now, once you have it, it is your number for life. It never gets taken away from you. You
is it a
should
work Social
protect it.
Security or is this a regular Social Security?
The work, Social Security number does not give you work authorization, does not give you permission to work. It allows the Social Security Administration to deduct certain things from your paycheck to be reported to the federal government, but it is not a work permit.
I want to also clarify, we will have a different social security, really different note on the social security card than you are U.S. citizens. It will be said that not authorized to work outside, something like this.
Yeah,
It will say only authorized.
only with immigration authorization.
Only with some authorization, but also if you working, if you will get the campus job, a good thing is to do, you can do tax return, and then you will get some money back when you working, because you are not
Making enough money.
you're not making enough money, you don't so this is you will get how do you call it,
The
W2 form in the end of the year, and you'll be able to fill the tax return document, and you will get money back. Okay?
other questions? about-
Yes.
Okay.
How long time usually it takes since you applied for a job and career service, you filled out the application, put your first and last name, and before you can get a job? So how long time usually it takes?
It depends on if a job is available. So, simply going to the career center doesn't guarantee that you will find a job. If there is a job available, they will send you to interview for that position if you meet the qualifications for that job. And then if the person wants to take you, then then they will.
But in general, do you have some statistics of that?
No.
How long people
No,
usually wait?
No, because it just,
Because they have a huge list of last names, different people. I mean, it's a big line. So
Yeah, it is a big, there is a big queue, that's for sure, of
And
students
so,
who,
my advice is also, you apply, follow up, because when I applied, nobody talked to me at all. So I thought, oh no, I applied, okay, so I wasn't good enough. And then my friend who applied said, oh yeah, I went to interview, I'm working there already. So I said, oh, no, I couldn't be worse than her. So I contacted her, and it turned out they just kind of forget, or it was lost somewhere. So I said, oh yes, please come for interview. And I came and I started to work. So make sure you follow up, you are strong, you show the desire of wanting to work. Just don't be passive, be aggressive.
that's true.
I like
Definitely.
the
Don't be passive. Okay, so now we're going to move on to off-campus, and in terms of talking about those benefits that are available to you. First, I want to start with the definition. The official definition of employment is any benefit that you receive for providing some service. So it can be any benefit. That benefit could be money, cash or check or whatever, money, or it could be, maybe somebody is giving you tuition for providing some benefit. So that is the definition of employment. We often get people calling the office to say, oh, I need a student to take care of my elderly uncle, and I know the international students need money, and maybe we'll pay their tuition. I was like, they're not eligible for that because that is employment. So they can't have that type of employment unless it is specifically authorized. So the general rule of thumb with any kind of work that you are doing or want to do off campus is that you must have permission in writing. You cannot do any kind of work off campus unless legally, unless that permission is in writing. And the permission will come in writing from the Immigration Service or in very limited situations from our office, from either Lucy or myself. The first type of off-campus employment that I want to talk about is based on economic hardship. So if something significant and unforeseen happens that changes your financial situation, then you might be eligible to apply for a one-year work permit based on economic needs. So can somebody give me an example of what could be something significant and unforeseen that might happen? Yeah.
Your parents who are your supporters suddenly die, so you don't have.
Okay. Yeah. So your sponsor passes away. That's very dramatic. Thank God I haven't had that happen since I've been at Brookdale. But yeah, very dramatic. Anything else? What else? What are some other examples of something dramatic and unforeseen that could happen?
something happened with your money. I don't know. You just lost your money on your account or something like that.
Maybe like significant fluctuations in your currency.
Yes. Yes.
In your, so there's lots of stuff happening, with debt and crises in some European countries. And not just in Europe, but I mean, you know, all around the world, there's certain pockets where, you know, things could happen. So if there's a significant devaluation in the currency of your home country, and that's where your money support you is coming from, we can show that. We can, you know, we can track that information, and we can show that and demonstrate that, and you can apply for a work permit. So that's another good example. Anything else?
So it includes if somebody from your sponsors lost a job, right? So
Yeah.
any kind of financial
There
cases.
There could be illness or hospitalization and significant expenses, medical expenses. So the thing is, it has to be completely unforeseen, completely unplanned, and a pretty major event. So hang on a second. So some questions regarding economic necessity that I've had students ask are, well, you know, I'm in my second year and I ran out of money. And so, and I have to unfortunately tell the students that, but, you know, when you applied for admission to come and study in the U.S., Brookdale and the U.S. government who granted your visa, or the immigration officer who granted your visa, they are of the understanding that you know that your studies will last 2 years or 4 years. So, you know, just simply running out of money is not, you know, that's not unforeseen. Because you know that your cost of education is going to be 2 to 4 years or 5 years in length. So it does have to be completely unplanned and a pretty significant change in your financial situation. So that's one of that type of employment benefit. The work permit comes from the Immigration Service. So you would have to apply through Lucy or myself. We would help you to put the application together, and we have to support you in that application because the Immigration Service is not going to, you know, give you a work permit unless you have our support with that. So we're going to be looking for documentation to prove that whatever happened to you would qualify for this. And you do have to be in good immigration standing. So you can't be under-enrolled, you have to be in good academic standing as well for us to support this kind of application for you.
What if the sponsor just decides not to sponsor you at that point?
If that sponsor has to then write an affidavit or a letter saying, you know, I'm unable to support this person because of blah, 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 you know, my business went bankrupt, or, you know, whatever the situation is, it has to, you know, demonstrate something that caused him or her not to want to sponsor you.
That'd be good enough. Would it be good enough?
Well, I don't know until you know, I'm not going to make a judgment call like that until we see, you know, an actual presentation. So, yeah. Hi, Eunice. Everyone in the back, this is Ms. Pearson from the Career Services Office. And we talked about your center at the beginning, but she's very, very helpful to international students, particularly with practical training opportunities and internship opportunities. So, and actually that's sort of the next big chunk that I want to talk about. So, any questions about economic need and economic necessity? Before I talk about practical training, the other type of work off campus is if you get an internship with an international organization. That's something that we can pretty easily authorize. And I've been in this business about 30 years, and I've never authorized anybody with this kind of work authorization. But if you got an internship with the UN or, you know, some big, you know, international organization like that, UNICEF, you know, places like that, then please come and see me because I'm anxious to learn how to do this. But, you know, never really have. Huh? Yes, there is a recognized international organization, and the regulations specify what types of groups fall into that category.
So it cannot be any kind of corporate job? I mean,
No,
Oh.
yeah, no, not like a corporate
not even
job.
in, like, if you're not even getting paid just to learn?
You can do non-paid. I mean, yes, you can do non-paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then do I need a permission from the office?
No, you don't.
Okay.
But for unpaid internships and practical experience, you still do want to have something in writing from that organization so that you are protected and they are protected. They're protected from, inadvertently, saying that they're employing somebody without, proper authors, without proper documents, and then you are, you also know what your obligations are and what your objectives are. I mean, it's a good thing anyway, because you need to set out goals and objectives of what you want to accomplish in this semester or summer that you're with them.
But with international internship, they're not allowed to get paid? Or no? Like within,
Yeah, with the
UNICEF,
recognized international organization, and an example would be like a UNICEF. Right?
they're not allowed to get paid then?
You are.
Okay.
You are. Yeah. Okay. So then the other type of off-campus employment that most of you will take advantage of is called practical training. And there are two types of practical training. Curricular practical training, which, as the name suggests, has to relate to Brookdale's curriculum, and therefore can only be done while you are a Brookdale student pursuing an academic degree. Okay? The other type of practical training is called optional practical training, because you have the option to do it either before you graduate or after you graduate, and it doesn't have to be related to Brookdale's curriculum. In other words, appearing in the catalog, but it does have to relate to your major. So practical training is an opportunity for you to gain practical experience in your major. So I had a student a couple of years ago who was a photography major, and she brought in an offer letter from an employer from a laundromat, and she said, "Miss Janice, I would like to apply for curricular practical training." I said, "Well, what does working in a laundromat have to do with being a photography major?" Nothing at all. I mean, it was clear she was going to be, doing stuff that you do in a laundromat, but yeah, nothing at all to do with being a photography major. So, the opportunity, you are free to, utilize the services of the Career Center to look for internships and practical training experiences, but also use your own contacts, use the resources that you have in your local communities to find opportunities for yourself. But those opportunities have to be related to your major. It can't be something, really, really far-fetched.
I just want to, and it's going to be this maybe when I started doing the last couple of years as students come in and training, I started having a listing of employers that have worked in the past with international students and who are willing to continue to work. So it's making it a little easier for me to identify employers who are willing to work, which would be no problem at all. It's fine. We did it before the student again. But again, I can also go out and look for other different areas of employers for you. I'm just saying, the mere fact that I'm starting, this is good for me to find out, okay, what's your major, and I can look that up. So I just wanted to share that exactly until I can look.
Oh, that's good. That's really, really good. So again, this type of work has to be related to your major. And and sometimes students will bring us, and this person is really good, and the Career Services Office is really good at this. Sometimes students will bring us things that sound very, very far-fetched and just don't seem as if they match. And we try our best, but sometimes we have to tell you no, that this, I'm sorry, we can't make it work. So, with curricular practical training, you must be registered for academic recognition for that experience. So it is, that work experience is done at the same time that the semester, is going. So usually we authorize that one semester at a time. So from September to December, or January to May, or May to August, mid-May to mid-August. That experience has to appear on your transcript. So whether you're getting credit, signing up for $2.99, a 3-credit internship. And I think Lucy and I don't know if we've come to a decision yet about the non-credit internship issue. That's something we still have to discuss.
Yes, that's right.
In the past, we have permitted students to be authorized curricular practical training with 0 credit, with a 0-credit internship. And we've been taking a look at that the last couple of months because of some of the language and the guidance that we've been seeing recently from immigration. So we're not sure if we'll be able to continue in that vein. We still have some more checking to do with regard to that. But if you are getting credit, then definitely curricular practical training is something that you can do. Optional practical training, we typically advise students to use that when you graduate. So apply for optional practical training in the last semester that you plan to graduate. And that application goes to the Immigration Service and you get a work permit. The work permit has your photo on it and has the dates that practical training is valid. And you are eligible for 1 year, 12 months of optional practical training. And the good thing is that after you finish your associate's degree, then you can do 1 year of optional practical training. Then you can continue your studies for your bachelor's degree, and you can get another year of optional practical training once you've completed your bachelor's degree. Then you can go on for your master's degree, and you can get 1 more year of optional practical training for your master's, and then when you finish your PhD, you can get another year.
Yeah.
So, so you have a year of optional practical training for every level that you rise. Doesn't work backwards. In other words, you can't get 2 years of optional practical training having completed 2 different associate degrees. That doesn't work. And if you go to Rutgers University and finish your bachelor's and you want to come back to Brookdale for another associate, that doesn't work either. So it's only, continuing to get higher and higher.
So does that mean you also get your social security number as well?
Yes, when you have a work permit, Andy asked a question about the social security number. So when you have a work permit that is based on practical training, then with that evidence you can apply for and receive your social security number.
Is that through a school or you have to do it by hand?
We will help you.
Okay.
We will, always, if you haven't learned this from orientation and from other things that always come and see us before you do anything, and we'll make sure that you do it in the right step and the right way, so that you don't have to come back. That you don't go to the Social Security office and then come back and say, but they told me X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you should have come to us first. So always come to us first, and we'll help you. Yeah.
So who authorizes? Because you said for the OPT, you kind of have to apply to the immigration services.
Yes.
But what about CPT?
With CPT, you apply through our office. Actually, with optional practical training and curricular practical training, we always start with our office. Always start with the International Center. With curricular practical training, Lucy and I are able to authorize that as long as you meet certain requirements. With optional practical training, we have to annotate your I-20 form, and then you submit the application to the immigration service, and your work permit comes from INS.
Do you have to take in consideration the time, for OPT, right?
You mean like when to apply, when it's good? Yeah, when it's a good time to apply, absolutely. If you graduate in May, our recommendation is that you apply for optional practical training in, send your application in March.
March.
Yes.
Send the immigration services.
Yeah. So come in to us and start the process in March, and send it off, before the end of March. That way, you are sure to have your work permit in time for when you would like to begin working.
I have a question because my situation may be a little bit tricky. I know that I'm running good, my status is running good until December 2013. Okay,
Yeah,
but
is that the date on your I-20? The completion date on your I-20?
yes,
Okay.
I guess so. But I do not have a new stamp on the passport, so I'm kind of stuck because if I get out of the country, I have to request in my own embassy a visa. So how does it work then for me with the OPT? Because I'd like to finish, go home, and then get back with my OPT. So how do I handle that?
That's really challenging. So I know a number of you are in this same situation. You were here maybe as an au pair or as a tourist, and then you changed your status to a student. So your status has changed, but you don't have a visa stamp in your
Exactly.
passport.
Yes.
So when you travel, while you, to re-enter the U.S. in F1 status, first of all, OPT, you are in F1 status. So it's a work permit, but you still are in F1 status. You still have to let us know if you move, if your name changes, so you still are in F1 status. And if you travel, leave the U.S., and you want to come back in F1 status, passport, I-20 has to be signed, and you need a valid visa normally, right? But if you are in optional practical training or wanting to apply for optional practical training, you also need to have the work permit, and you need to have a letter from an employer indicating, you are just going to be starting a job.
So then I would have to bring all of this to my embassy when I'm requesting my visa
Yes.
to kind of ensure that I will get it.
Well, it doesn't ensure that you're
Yeah.
going to get it. It doesn't ensure that you're going to get it, because remember, when you apply for a visa, what do you have to prove? What's one of the things that you have to prove when you apply for a visa?
A lot of
That's
things.
Really well, huh, Kevin? What's the answer?
Financial support.
Huh?
Financial support.
Well, yeah, you have to prove financial support, but what else? What else? What's the biggest thing that they always deny your visas for? Yeah.
That you're coming back.
Right, you have to prove that you're going to come back to your home country. So if you have a good job in the U.S., that might be kind of difficult to convince that consular officer that yes, you want to come back. I mean, so you have to really say, well, this job is an internship, and I know that once I have this experience, what's your country?
Brazil.
Brazil. So once I have this, and that might be a little easier for Brazil than maybe other places, but once I have this great experience in the U.S., I know that employers in Brazil need people with my experience. They need people who are fluent in English and who have some experience in the U.S. What the heck? We have the Olympics coming and the World Cup coming. I can get a job easily, soon. So, that's not going to be the same situation for everybody, but you have to convince that consular officer that training experience, and talk about it as not a job, but a training experience, an internship, that once you finish that internship, you're going to be coming back to your home country. Yeah.
One more question about F1 visa, if we started to talk about it. For example, if during next summer I will decide to travel abroad of the United States or go home for 3 months or 1 month and I will decide to come back, you said I have to go in my own embassy, right, in my country,
Yes.
or...
You do not have an F1 stamp.
Yeah, I don't have it because I changed from tourist status B2 to F1. So how difficult is it to get a visa? How many chances that I will fail in the embassy? I mean, does it make any sense to
Yeah.
go, or it
I-
doesn't make
I
a sense
tell
at
you,
all?
a lot of students choose not to go in your situation. because, you know, I don't know how long you've had your tourist visa when you initially applied for your tourist visa, but you have to prove that, you know, you have plan to come back to Russia, right?
Russia, yeah.
Yes, you plan to come back to Russia, and that the education that you are receiving here is going to benefit you in Russia. Now, Lucy's had some experience with this, and I don't know if you want to. I mean, everybody's case is individual, right? So you can't really say you have a better chance. You know, even sometimes I used to say, well, okay, you know, Western Europe, it's a little easier than, you know, most everywhere else around the rest of the world. But I tell you, the au pairs now are getting denied, you know, former au pairs are getting their visas denied when they go back to Sweden and Norway and Germany and, you know, places like that. So it's an individual thing.
So you wouldn't recommend it, right?
I can't tell you to, you know, I can't recommend you yes or no.
Okay.
I mean, I just have to, I can only tell you what some of our experiences have been.
Got it.
Now, have students done that and gotten visas to come back? Yes. Yeah.
From Russia, do you have some cases from Russia?
I can't recall, but I was just thinking, you know, just in general. But Russia is difficult. It's difficult to get a student visa in general.
Yeah.
That's right. If you stay, if you know you stay, right?
Yeah, this is
Right.
like
Yeah.
If you are,
Exactly.
If you wanna, you know, finish your study, you for sure wanna do it and, you know, stay. But going back is always a risk. It's your own risk.
Well, one more question about OPT. So it's kind of work permission outside of campus, right? So I have 1 year opportunities to work outside with Social Security with, what kind of visa will I get? I mean, how?
You're in F1 status. You
So it
still
will
are in
still F1,
status.
right?
Yeah, you still are in F1 status. So you don't get a new visa, a new status. You still are in F1 status because practical training is an extension of your academics. It's the opportunity for you to put into practice all this theory you have been learning in class.
So it means that I won't be able to find out a job myself, right? So the college will care about my job, right?
For optional practical training, you have to go and find your job.
Myself.
Yes.
So
Yes.
college is
But
not
the
going to
college
help
will
me.
help you
Will.
in terms of preparing your resume, teaching you how to interview. The Career Services Center has a fabulous jobs database. They have workshops, you know, several workshops a week, so that you can choose to go to help you with these things. So they can help you get job ready.
So it's just preparation, right? So you don't have a special department who is just seeking jobs for students.
No. Nobody seeks a job for you, but they have contacts, they have resources, and they can help you to get prepared so that you are as competitive as a U.S. citizen. And in the spring, some of you may come to our workshop in the spring, but we have a wacky lawyer who comes in the spring. He's very entertaining, but he also, when we have him come, he'll talk about how to, you know, he has his own take on how to interview, and sometimes it's at odds with Career Centers folks, but
it's more successful, so I pay attention. That one again.
yeah, but so he'll in the spring, he will talk about, sort of life beyond optional practical training, and many of you are coming to Brookdale already with advanced degrees. You have degrees from your home country, and so in the spring he'll talk about how to leverage those kinds of experiences in terms of getting employer, and he'll show you a website where you can find employers who are looking for, who hire international people and that sort of thing. So, but that's in spring semester.
It should have some kind of relations with my major, right?
Yes.
Always.
Always.
And the curriculum, practice training, actually it's almost the same, right? So it's just...
I'm sorry.
curriculum practice training, right? So it's almost the same with optional practice training, but just during my study here.
Yes, very similar. Both are related to your major and
Outside of campus, right?
outside of
They're outside of campus, both of them, right? And with the curriculum practice training, I have to find out the job myself too, right? And you can also prepare me, right, for those things.
So I wanted to show you on our website, because I don't have enough handouts to give everybody. And if you did get a handout, you can get it in one of two ways. Just come down to the office afterwards and we'll get you what you missed. Or just from our website, we have all the forms and all the information that you need from our website. So here you all are current students now. If you're ever curious about what your responsibilities are, what you need to do to maintain your status, if you need to drop below full-time, you know, you cannot ever drop below full-time unless you have permission in writing in advance, well, permission in advance from us. If you need permission to stay longer than what we have given you on your I-20, hopefully you won't have to apply for reinstatement. If you're going to be traveling outside the U.S., information on what you need to do. And then this is what I just gave you, an overview of working in the U.S., which talks about the three types of employment that we covered today. And then these are the application forms for curricular practical training and optional practical training or economic necessity if you need to apply for that. And then as you see below, we have some additional helpful links for you if you're going to be visiting Social Security Administration or the Motor Vehicle Commission. Wow, this is new. Did you put this, Lucy? Funding for U.S. study? Oh, okay. I don't know where that goes. Oh, okay. Look at that. Oh, okay, yeah. So, that's good. So look, I'm even discovering stuff on my own website. Okay, yeah, that's it. So Plug for International Student Association, we meet Tuesdays at noon. Fabulous organization. So I hope that you guys can come and join that. Andy is a former, are you still with them?
Yes.
Yes, so Andy's an active member of ISA. And I just gave another commercial. We have a foreign film series. The next one coming up is in November, and it's a movie from Brazil. So we hope, and the movies we show in Asbury Park. It's a collaboration between our Culinary Education Center, which is located in Asbury Park, so you can go there and have dinner cooked by Brookdale students, and then go see the movie. The dinner costs money. It's about between $20 and $25, but the movie is free. So you can either do dinner and a movie, or just go to the movie for free.
When is going to happen? When is going to happen?
In Asbury Park, the Culinary Education Center. Do we have any? Oh, there's a. If you didn't get a little
I didn't get it.
thing, then yeah.
Thank you. It's what?
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah, we showed a movie from Spain last Tuesday night, which is really, really good. Okay, any questions? About an hour.
So it's possible to apply for CPT actually right now after, for example, my case, this is my second term here in the Brookdale Community College, so I can apply already, right?
Right. Thank you, Anton, right?
Yep.
Anton mentioned something that I totally forgot to tell you guys. So with on-campus employment, you are automatically eligible to do on-campus employment at any time. With off-campus employment, you have to be in F1 status for an academic year. Okay? So So if you start your studies in September, then your academic year, your eligibility to apply begins in May. If you start your studies in January, then we include the summer term, so that your eligibility would begin in September. And those of you who are, waiting on change of status, we're able to count when you began your studies. So even though you may not be in F1 status like right this minute, we start counting that academic year in September when you started taking classes. All right. Good questions, everybody. So that's it. I don't have anything. Lucy, you have anything else? Nope. Good. All right. Well, you know where to find us. Any questions that you have? Lucy's hours are 9:15 to about 2:30, Monday through Thursday. If you can't make it during those times, then when you call the office, you'll see me. But most of the time, we'll be seeing Lucy. All righty, thank you guys. Go have some lunch.
Thank you. Oh, this is extra sheets. Oh, I don't have it actually.
You don't have this one? I need the other one.
You can get it. Yeah, you can come down and get it.
I think it's gonna be a good idea to share.
Hey, you. Cool. I just came from the contact. Yeah. Trying to learn. Oh, really? That's so cool.
Who's the teacher?
Huh?
Who's the teacher?
Linda Lentini. You know her? I guess she's new.
I know it's like you.
I'm worried about it.
So you can read this and download this because that's what you report.
You have 5.
Okay, and then I will press to you
And that we do here. You don't have to send anything away to immigration. You just do that right now.
Oh,
We notify
should
you.
I do this like in the study semester?
Whenever it's to do it. Maybe you do it in the spring after you've met with your counselor and you have a good sense of what you're going to get. So I would say,
That's what I was and I just wanted to make sure that
I was advisor.
Sure. My associate
Yeah, so
advisor.
I think it's pretty good, but it's
yeah, you don't have to know.
Okay, and also I'm sure that's because they don't have to draw. I can just
I want to do more.
and then I was
Now I reflect less.
my
Are you going to finish in here?
Yeah, I guess so.
How many grades do you have for?
But I have my visa. Can I go to the
Well,
Swedish
if my
Embassy?
if I'm counting right, I'm pretty sure
I don't have to go home.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
It takes 12 forever, so
Swedish government will require it. Start with
we
the
just have to check with them.
I have I see something.
I have my visa.
I think 3 or 4
Maybe
or
it's
5.
Sometimes what they do is if they're going to give you a new passport,
Yeah.
they're going to return the old passport since it has a valid visa in it. And it travels both the old passport and with the valid visa.
Oh, yeah, I will lose my visa.
No.
That one I have. That's what I'm gonna.
Don't give up your I-94.
So I do summer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so there's a, I should call them.
Because I didn't check with them, because I thought that
Go
they
consulate.
spoke, so I didn't know this.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
But we can go home and read, so.
think it would be a good idea to share Facebook. I think it would be a good idea to share our Facebook accounts or something like that, and just keep attached, because somebody will find a job on the campus, for example, and they will have couple open positions more. And
What's your name again?
Anton.
Anton. Mine's Karina.
Karina, you're from Brazil, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm from Brazil.
We can
Do
add.
you attend to the international meetings? I never attended the international meetings. Have you?
What do you mean?
The one that you mentioned before?
That's
They have a meeting on Tuesday, I guess. I never attended to that one.
No, I didn't attend it.
Yeah, me neither.
Didn't attend. I'm sorry, I have one more question. You mentioned that we have opportunities to be prepared to pass interviews, right? To write resumes. So, in which room or which department I can do it?
Experiential learning.
Experiential learning.
Yeah, they're in the same hallway with us. Like my office is here. When you're coming out of my office, turn to the left, and they're the second or the third office on the right in that hallway.
Okay, so
That's this office.
Oh, okay. So I just come up to them and they will.
Yeah, you make an appointment to meet with a counselor in there.
So it's possible, right? Okay, and what I need to do, just print out my resume and go to any department with questions. Do you have any kind of job or something like that, or how is it working? I mean,
Well, talk to the career center and get advice on how to do that. But that's what some people do. Some people will print out a resume, some people will email their resume.
yeah,
You know,
because
like for example, we teach Russian. You know, you can talk to the language department about being a tutor for Russian students.
yeah, it would be cool, yeah. Because actually, I went in career center and I filled out the application. Not actually the application. I put my name in the list, in the line. I did it in August, I believe, and nothing. Yeah, nothing happened. I came up a couple of times. I asked them, "Did you get any positions for me?" They said, "If we didn't call you, it means no, we didn't get it." I mean, I just put my name. I didn't fill any kind of forms, nothing. So it's kind of not serious. I'm just in the line, and that's it.
But go with a specific need to meet with a counselor to learn how to put your resume together and to find out how you can, participate in some of the workshops on how to interview and be ready and how to approach. It's more than I think just putting your name on a list.
Yeah. So can I make an appointment online, or I have to call them and ask about availability?
I think just go, because you're just down here, so just go now and make an appointment.
Okay. And one more question. Is it possible to go abroad to some specific countries? Because I heard about countries like Bahamas or Mexico where you can go and nobody will care about your visa or something like that. No, it's not possible?
You can study abroad. You mean to study abroad? Or?
No, just for a vacation, go on Bahamas, for example, and go back in the
yes.
United States.
You can travel to a contiguous country or island for less than 30 days, and you should be eligible to re-enter the U.S.
But I don't have visa in my passport.
That's right. That's correct. You should be eligible to re-enter the U.S. even without a visa. I have to tell you that some of my students have done that, no problem, and others have done that and had problems. So it's not a 100% guarantee.
So they
legally it is allowed.
So I can just have my papers, any kind of papers.
But we give you some papers.
And I can go on Bahamas for 1 week and go back without a visa in my passport, right? And they will let me go into.
They should let you go. Yeah, they're supposed to.
But it's a risk still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.